Welcome back to the Sky and the Shy podcast. This is episode 20. I am your host, Edwin Garcia, and this is the first podcast of 2021. The last time I talked to y'all on the pod, the Chicago Sky just won the WNBA championship. What an amazing moment that was. And while we're going to cherish that and celebrate that for many, many years to come, it's time to start looking forward. It's time to start looking at the upcoming season. We are already deep into the off season and heading towards a new WNBA season. So today we're going to talk about the Chicago Sky players playing in Europe, the WNBA schedule being released, and a little bit about free agency. So let's get into it. As we all know, the WNBA season ended with the Chicago Sky as champions. Despite that success and despite those celebrations, basketball didn't stop for many of the Chicago Sky players. Many of them ended up playing in Europe during the offseason. And this is, again, for those who might be new to the sport, this is not a surprise. That's how the WNBA works. You play your season and then quickly off to Europe to go play in the offseason. And unfortunately, some of these players get paid even more to play in Europe than they do to play in the States. And that's something that I definitely want to see change. The WNBA is a very good product. They should be able to get a wage that is equivalent to that product and not have to play overseas in order to make ends meet and to feel like they're compensated at the professional level they deserve. So that's something we want to see change. But we did see a lot of WNBA players, a lot of Chicago Sky players play in Europe. In fact, 9 of the 11 players who were on the roster at the end of the season are playing in Europe now. So we're going to quickly talk about it, break it down, kind of give you a little bit of not a preview because they're deep into it, but kind of a little bit of a recap of what they're doing out there and for who it matters and who maybe it doesn't matter as much, because different players are going there for different reasons. So let's get into it. First one is Lexi Brown, and she's playing for Charnay Basket. For Lexi Brown, she's playing in Charnay Basket in France. The team is really not in contention much, so for her, I think this is just about getting her reps in and playing a little bit more than she did with the Sky, which is probably a good thing, and I think that's Lexi's goal there in France. Kalia Copper, she's playing for Perfumia Avenida. I realize this is the first time I'm trying to say some of these names out loud. Some of them I already know because I've been watching Euroball for quite some time, but some of them, they're going to be a little tough for me. So I'll do my best here. So Kalia Copper, we all know her, KFC, MVP, All-Star. So for her, it really is about just continuing to get those reps, continuing to push. Her team's playing in EuroLeague. She's having a really, really good season, and she's playing really, really well in Europe, just like she was with the Sky. So honestly, when I watch her play in Europe, it's just a joy. I already know what Kalia Copper is going to do in the WNBA. She's going to dominate. So it's just, if you want to watch EuroLeague women, which I recommend everyone does during the offseason, it's just a good time and just a good experience overall. Diamond DeShields is at Familia Wnba Schedule. And for Diamond, it's a little bit different. Diamond, she's playing here with Schedule in Italy, and she had an up and down season. She had a disappointing 2021. I think everyone can acknowledge that. So for her, it's can she get a rhythm? Can she get a groove? Can she now get those reps in kind of not a carefree environment, but a different environment, and just kind of be her normal, energetic self? I think that's the Diamond we all want to see. We all know her ability. I think this year was disappointing, and hopefully a good stint in Europe is just what she needs to have a bounce-back season in 2022. Dana Evans is at KSC, oh my goodness, Zexard? We're going to say KSC. KSC for sure is A-OK. She was a Chicago Sky rookie, so her rookie season must have been amazing, winning a championship and everything. But she didn't play much. So this is an opportunity for her, again, to get those reps and to play more against professional talent, which she hasn't done in her career since she's just a rookie. So I think that's for her what this is about. It's about development, getting those reps in, and not having a big gap between her last game and her next game in the WNBA. Ruthie Hebert is playing for Ragusa. And for Ruthie, it's an odd season. She had a really, really good beginning of the season, like the first third. And after that, she just was kind of ignored and ended up getting kind of taken out of the roster and in terms of the rotation. So I'd like to see her have a good time there in Italy and be productive because she didn't really get reps late in the season. Astu Nadu-Fall is playing for Umana Ryer Venezia. And again, Astu, veteran player. You don't really worry too much about Stu. You just want to see her, continuing to work on her game and just staying healthy. And that's kind of my expectations from us too. Next up, we have Allie Quigley, who's playing for UMCC. Now, UMCC is a team in Russia. They are probably the greatest or the best women's basketball team on the planet. If they would play in the WNBA, I think they would win easily, mainly because they have nothing but WNBA players. They are absolutely stacked. If you go Google the UMCC women's basketball roster, your jaw's going to drop if you don't know what I'm talking about, because they always have a stacked squad. Haven't lost a game. They win everything in Russia. They win everything in every European competition. Allie Quigley is their starting shooting guard, just like she is for the Sky. So for her, this is about her. To me, this is about Allie Quigley playing the best basketball she can against the highest competition possible, and she's definitely doing that, playing at UMCC. So if you get a chance to watch the UMCC game, you should, and definitely I recommend every Chicago Sky fan does. Download the EuroLeague Women app. That gives you the big competition of all the champions in Europe facing each other. And you can also watch for free on FIBA's YouTube channel. They archive all the games, and they also stream them live on YouTube along with their native app. It's really a great experience. So check them out. And Allie's been playing great there, and that's just the best team in the world, honestly. Next up, Azurá Stevens, who plays for Nika Basket. And Stevens, I think, had a pretty solid season with this guy. So a good stint with Nika Basket could put her in a position to take another step forward next year in the W. Hopefully, playing significant minutes for this guy. We'll see how free agency and all that pans out. But that's they're competing in Euro Cup, which is the second tier kind of competition in Europe. EuroLeague Women is like the top one, and Euro Cup Women is like the one underneath. For those soccer fans out there, think about it like Champions League and EuroLeague in soccer. It's the same thing in basketball. EuroLeague Women is the top one, and Euro Cup Women is right underneath that. And last but not least, we have Courtney Vander. She plays at UMCC, just like Allie Quigley does. And same thing. You already know her as the point guard. So it's not like she's developing. It's just her continuing to push herself, playing in the highest level possible. And that's what she does for UMCC, just like she did for the Sky. They have goals for championships and same kind of goals the Sky do, and they accomplish them pretty steadfast. So again, great team to watch, and you're not really watching that to see how good Courtney looks. You know how good she is. It's just, if you want to see her play against some other top competition all over the world, it's a good thing to watch. So highly recommend everyone gets an opportunity to watch EuroLeague and enjoy and support these women, as they are not playing for the Sky during the offseason, but are playing overseas. Okay, so the timeline for the WNBA season is already well underway. So if maybe you haven't been keeping up with it, which is totally fine, wanted everyone to know that on the website skyandtheshy.wordpress.com, we already have the WNBA schedule for the Sky set and ready to go. It's already been announced. All the games are announced and scheduled for the 2022 season, and we have a record 36 regular season games happening this year, which is the highest ever. So it's going to be, actually, I don't think it would really be a longer season. They're just adding a couple more games in. I believe last season was 32, and then we had a reduced schedule during the 2020 bubble season. So we're really heading into a unique year this year. So I wrote an article on skyandtheshy.wordpress.com highlighting my top 5 games I'm looking forward to, and there's a lot of really good games to watch. The opening night against the Sparks is what I'm looking forward to. There's the Commissioner Cup and how that's going to develop is something I'm looking forward to. Games against the Aces are also going to be interesting, especially with Hammond taking over there for the Las Vegas Aces. So I'm really excited for this season. We're already starting to get closer to it. I think this season was unique. Usually I'm borderline fiending for the WNBA to return. I'm just like so eager for it to come back. And this year I feel that a little less. I think that's because the Sky won the championship. So I'm like, hey, I'm kind of enjoying this. Like, we don't have to. Let's take our time. I want to come back, but it's cool, right? So that's definitely the feeling after winning a championship. But I'm definitely already excited. Seeing the schedule gives me pumped up. I can't wait to have the Sky and the WNBA in general back in my life on a daily basis. We're still far away. It's May, so that's 5 months away, 4 months away, give or take. So we still have quite a ways away, but it's nice to kind of experience this timeline. The schedules are out. You can start scheduling games you want to go to, see what the schedule looks like, games you might want to attend, trips you might want to make. That's always fun, seeing which games are going to be nationally televised and things of that nature. We're getting more basketball, which is good as well. And we're getting the Commissioner Cup back, seeing how that develops. That's going to be interesting. And we also kind of started free agency. Now, it's not started to the extent where you're signing just straight up free agents and making those kind of trades. But it started in the sense that now you're able to make the qualifying offers to players that are restricted. That's where we're at with the free agency period. And I want to talk briefly about the Sky's announcements. They've made 2 announcements on that end, and they've extended qualifying offers to Diamond, DeShields, and Lexi Brown. Now, we don't know if they're going to be accepted 100%. We don't know if Sky are going to counter if they're not accepted for the most part. This is just the beginning of what can happen. And right now, those things can happen. You can extend qualifying offers to restricted free agents, and the Sky did that with Diamond, DeShields, and Lexi Brown. So they're both 1-year contracts. It's $73,542 for DeShields and $72,141 for Brown. So we'll see how those players, react to that, and if they sign to that, or if they try to negotiate for more. James Wade, Coach James Wade, and GM James Wade, told the Sun-Times that he's pretty confident he will use the core designation, but didn't specify which player he'd core. So that means that with each team can use this designation on one player by extending a core qualifying offer and make it a 1-year supermax deal. So again, it's going to be interesting. We're going to have to definitely have those conversations about who the Sky needs to prioritize. There's only X amount of dollars, X amount of spots. A team just won a championship. There's going to be some players who want to extend and grow. There's some players who want to be compensated for the contributions they made to a championship team. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops as we go along here. It's part of the realities of basketball. Some players are going to leave. You're never going to come back with the exact team you had each and every year. So obviously, I think most of us want the Sky to kind of run it back as much as possible, and we'll see how good of a job they do of that, and where they think maybe they can even make improvements or make changes. So early stages of free agency, but we are well underway. All right, now that we've hit our main topics, we're going to keep this one short and sweet. But I do want to talk a little bit about what's the upcoming schedule here. We had a little bit of a break after the championship, but now we want to start ramping up. I want to start ramping up. Lots of great coverage for the Sky still. We're going to keep things updated in the upcoming months on what's going on in Europe, which Chicago Sky players are still playing, who's in contention for championships, who's playing well, things of that nature. We're also going to obviously have to start updating this roster once free agency really kicks off, and we actually see players signing for other teams, the Sky signing new players, things of that nature. We're going to have to keep up with all that, and I want to start also looking at the WNBA Draft. Chicago Sky do have a draft pick. They're going to probably pick somebody up. We should be doing at least one draft preview for that. So we're going to, even though the season's still 5 months away, it's not really that long. There's going to be, we still have a free agency. Then we have training camp. We have new signees, preseason. It's a all year thing. There's just lulls and moments of maybe a little bit more room, and some where it's obviously jam-packed when the season's going on. So we're kind of in the middle ground. It's not dead, but it's not in the season yet either. So for those reasons, we're going to keep the content coming. We're going to start getting back into our flow. So the next Sky in the Shy podcast will be available January 18th. That'll be on a Tuesday. So I think that's the cadence we're going to go for this year. Tuesday, maybe morning/early afternoon, because I'm currently located in the West Coast. So if I say morning for me, that might be 10 a.m. But if you live in the central Midwest or the East Coast, that's 12/1. So let's say early lunchtime every Tuesday. Maybe I can adjust my schedule and try to make sure that's morning for y'all. But I already have to adjust my schedule for the East Coast because of all the writers I work with enough. So I think I'm better off right now saying, hey, I got you for lunch on Tuesdays every other week. So let's do that. So next podcast will be available January 18th. And I'm not exactly sure what the main topic will be because, so many things can change from here to January 18th. So I can't really give you the exact update. Maybe it'll be free agency and what's going on with that. It might be a EuroLeague update. It might be an update on it might be an update on the WNBA Draft prospects and things of that nature. I'm going to kind of just, keep an eye on what's going on, keep following everything, and then I'm sure the focal point of the podcast will show up to me once I kind of see where things are going and feel what people want to talk about and what's probably the most important thing to talk about. Also, gonna work on it. Technically we haven't gone through the first year of the podcast. We went through the first season of the WNBA, but I haven't done a year of podcasting on this pod quite yet. We're getting close to that. So one thing I want to mention as well for this year that's going to change is I'm going to have some guests. I promised guests last year, and I don't know if I promised, but I said, we're going to have some guests. I think I said guests after like the first 10 episodes. And then the first 10 episodes happened, and we didn't get guests. We got into the playoffs. It got crazy. This year, we're going to have guests for sure. I'm going to make it happen. This pod, if you're watching on YouTube, you don't see my wonderful face, but that's just a rarity. It's still like winter break here at my house, and things are still kind of crazy, so I couldn't really get my room set up in a way that I felt comfortable recording the pod today. But normally that won't be an issue and won't be a problem. So every now and then I do a pod without video just because it's quicker. It means I don't have to set things up and I don't have to edit video along with audio. But for those who watch on YouTube, don't worry. That's not really going to change. This is just one of those like 1 out of every 15 I don't show my face, and this was one of the 15. So we'll go back to the next pod January 18th, talking about the Sky's offseason, seeing what's going on. We'll have video, we'll have audio, and in 2022 we're going to hopefully have a great year of the pod. Hopefully the Sky can repeat. That's going to be a difficult challenge and interesting to talk about, and I can't wait to experience this year with all of you from the jump. So thank you for listening to the Sky in the Shy podcast. I'll see you on the next one.